Welcome to the CADDT quick training video on the trainer functions, the file, and view menu. The trainer function can be found within the CADDT application and can be accessed by either clicking on the little blue person in the toolbar or by going to the help menu, selecting trainer, and selecting enable. The trainer function is a series of 15 various Caterpillar machines and engines that have been basically faked into the CADDT application itself and will allow users to work through the various screens in ET and simulate that they are being connected to one of these machines. So it's a great training tool for new technicians just to get them familiar with what they will see on the screens, what options are available within CADDT, and it also helps with troubleshooting over the phone. So you can find a similar module and help a technician in the field if they're kind of stuck or aren't sure what they should be looking for. So for this demonstration, we will click on the 795 off-highway truck, simply acknowledge your selection, and then CADDT will simulate connecting to this machine as it would if you were physically connecting to the machine. So you'll see here CADDT is attempting to detect ECMs on the data links. Once it finds them, it will make that connection with the machine and then ask you which ECM you would like to primarily be connected to. For this demonstration, we'll use the engine ECM. And once CADDT connects, it will launch the default screen for your ET. In this case, we have what's called the ECM summary screen here, which we will cover in a little more detail in a different module. The one thing to note about selecting an ECM, we chose the engine ECM. You can always tell which ECM you are primarily connected to by looking at the bottom of your application window here. This is important mostly for your information menu. Some of your service items as well will change depending on what that ECM supports. Sometimes, various ECMs will have different items available. So if you're looking for a certain thing that your service documentation tells you to look for, but you can't find it, always double check which ECM you're connected to, and it may be located on another ECM. So now we'll move over to the file menu. Going through the options here, the first one is open. If you need to open a specific type of report, simply choose it from the list. You can click data log file. You'll see it opens up the data log function, and you can browse to your file. The other option that we want to point out under here is what's called the Browse Report folder. What this will do is launch a Windows Explorer window to the root directory of where all of the reports are saved. So if you leave your file save locations at the default settings, you can always launch that feature, click into a folder, and see all of the reports that you have. We understand that our reports are buried under multiple directories, that it's hard for people to remember where those reports are at sometimes. So we put that little shortcut in there that'll take you right to that root directory. You will also notice that all of our reports follow a very standard formatting now with their file names, where it will always start with either the serial number of the product, the engine, the ECM, just depends which type of report it is, followed by a brief description, kind of an abbreviation of the report, in this case a product status report, followed by a date and a timestamp. This will allow you, if you need to send a report to someone, to just more quickly look in your directory, find which machine you were working on, highlight it, and either email it or open it if you just need a piece of information off of it. Next, under File, we have the Export option. This will allow you to take certain report files and export them into other formats. One of the most common uses for this one is to export a data log file. So if you take a data log file, you can export that and then save it as a .txt file, which will then allow you to open that in Excel, and then you can create your own graphs with all the parameters or certain sets of parameters, do a little more analysis on your data log data than in a different program. Next we have disconnect. You will notice that certain items under the menus also have a little picture next to them. These correspond to a picture up in the toolbar. So you can either use the feature under the menu or click up here in the toolbar. But disconnect will manually disconnect you from the ECMs in either the engine or machine that you're connected to. Certain service tests will require a disconnect and a reconnect to continue on. So this is how you can do it within the ET application. Switch data link. If you can't find certain things on the data link that you're connected to, you can use this to switch to a different one. And then select ECM here. This is going back to this screen where we originally chose the engine ECM. It will allow you to switch to another ECM, as I mentioned, if you're looking for a specific piece of information or a test or something that you can't find. The find and find next we will demonstrate in a different training module, but they work very similar to any other standard find feature that you can use. You can type in a partial word or an exact word and just cycle through the results until you find the one that you're looking for. Add to service report. If you have users that are utilizing the Caterpillar STW service report feature, you can add most screens within CAT-ET to this service report. So if you just click that button, it will launch this, and you can use a service report that you already have open. You can use one that's saved, or if you haven't even started one yet, you can just start a new service report from here. It requires, as I mentioned, having that STW service report installed on your PC, and if your dealership uses that one. And then we have our print functions. These are pretty standard to any other print function. And then lastly, exit. So if you need to physically exit the program, you can click the exit button here. Next, we have the View menu. Under View, you'll have the toolbar options. So you can have large buttons, small buttons, or you can just hide it completely if you want more room on your screen. We'll put it back here on large. Next, we have Custom. So you can customize which buttons are available on the toolbar itself. So you can just either double-click an item and it will move over, or you can highlight it and use the left and right arrows to place it over there. Once you have buttons over there, you can move them up and down in the order. So you can move service report around if you need to, and then click OK. If you get it all boogered up there, you can always just go back to the default settings and it'll come in that way. And then lastly, what we have under View is the custom function keys. Users can program the function keys on their laptops and their keyboards to run certain screens within CAT-ET. There are certain ones that are locked out, and we've tried to keep these consistent with other standard programs that you'd use in Windows. So for instance, F1 is usually help. So we've locked that one out, to launch our help all the time. But there are certain ones that you can program. Just pull the drop-down menu down, and then you can pick one out of the list there. This is especially helpful if you have technicians that know they want to see certain screens first, like their active diagnostic codes, log codes, and they don't want to mess with getting out a mouse or messing with the little mouse pad on the laptop. They can just press the F2 and F3 keys and just go down the line on the screens that they know they want to see. And it also helps if they have gloves on or their fingers are dirty, they can just press the button as opposed to trying to navigate a mouse. And again, just like on the toolbar, if you want to revert back to the default CAT-ET settings, just click the default button and then click OK to acknowledge and save your settings. So that concludes the quick training video.